Even though this technology will save humanity in the war to come, I must remind myself, liquid crystal cannot rise on its own. Titanium alloy cannot prevail in the face of extinction.
So, we have seen the Halo Infinite gameplay trailer, and I mean, basically, this is one of those things that to me this is like many other things that have come out recently, although without ruining the main character. They're going back to the original artwork and design of Halo, maybe Halo 1, 2, 3, maybe a little bit of ODST and Reach as well. But I would say, you know, Halo 4 and Halo 5 really started to kind of get out of control, especially some of the backgrounds, landscapes, and environments and design. Rather than having these simple classic designs of the game, they kind of were overdoing the Warthog and overdoing the Master Chief and everybody, making them kind of look like these future bots and soldiers and kind of leaving the classic look of what the original design of Halo was. And that really was a big issue, I think, for a lot of people. For me, I always said that. I said, man, the original maps were so much better. The original maps were simple but smart, and the new maps are not as smart and overly complicated. They were overly designed. Lights everywhere, details everywhere, crazy. So much of that you really couldn't fall in love with the environments or the maps, to me. And I think that's what a lot of what made Halo special. Like a map like just all the original maps, anything from the original. It's very similar in a game like PUBG now, where, you know, that original map from PUBG is basically legendary as far as that game goes. You know, all the maps that came after it were all right, and there's a couple that are really good, but there's nothing like the original map in PUBG. And it's the same thing with Halo's original maps from Halo 1. I thought Halo 1 had some of the best maps, and some of them weren't that good. But Halo 2 obviously had some of the most legendary maps too. And of course, Master Chief with this like a step back design into the original artwork. I really, really like that. I got super excited when I saw this. One of the things that got upgraded a lot is the sound effects. That's interesting. I actually really like the way the guns sound. They sound powerful when you fire the weapon. You know, you're met right away with classic grunts. Look at the HUD shields kick in. The classic shield noise. All the noises are very throwback, classic, redone. It really kind of feels like you're playing Halo 1 remastered or something here in a different location. This is exactly what I wanted, man. I've wanted something like this. Look at how sleek the gun is. It has more details, but it still feels like you're playing the original. I think the Warthog is nice. I don't think it looks too over-designed. It's not too under-designed. Everything here looks more like Halo than I've felt Halo has been. Look at the birds take off, too. That was really cool. And now you got this new map here where you can look around and see what's going on. Looks like you can see enemy bases. You can see the cannons, the targets, and stuff like that. So that's new to the game. So you're looking at the game with an upgraded version of the classic Halo with some new options and new stuff like that. Really cool. Look at the explosions on the grunts and the aliens. I love the sound effects and the visual effects. Then we get some the alien weapons or the Covenant weapons. We get to see a lot of those displayed. We get to see some new weapons and some different versions of those weapons that we've seen before. I forget what they're called, the Covenant, but I saw some people complaining, like they were saying, like, oh, you know, wow, they really didn't upgrade anything. Right here, you see this shield. You're able to use kind of like the options that you got in Halo 3 when we first saw some of those options introduced to the game. So that's a little bit of Halo 3 there, which doesn't bother me. all the first 3 Halos are very interesting to me. Because I've been playing Halo since the day it came out. I love telling the story when people first hear it. I'm such a scumbag. My mother bought Halo for me in November of 2001, I believe it was. And it was Christmas time was coming up, and she'd bought it for me, hid it in the closet. And I found out that she had bought it. And I would skip school and sneak into her closet, open up Halo, open up the original Xbox, unpackage everything. And I didn't even ever play Halo before, and I didn't even know if it was going to be good or what it was going to be. But it was the only game that was in the package with the original Xbox. So I played Halo, and I was like, wow. I was like addicted, skipping school, unpackaging this Xbox and playing it and calling my buddy and being like, you got to see this game, you know. And everybody was too busy playing GTA, though, at the time. And then Halo took over, man, for like 5 years. Halo was all everybody converted to Halo. You know, it would be like today if a game took over and everybody was playing it instead of, I guess Fortnite is the closest thing to like the comparison, except for Fortnite only lasted a year or so. I mean, people are still playing it, but it would be like pretty much Halo was one of the only things anybody was playing for the first couple of years of online play. It was just so amazing back then. That's wild right there. You can throw stuff. So this is just classic Halo, you know, right here. It looks like, but with some, look at the visual effects here. The upgraded visual effects are really cool. Part of them kind of look crappier. I mean, it's not done yet. The game's not done yet, but some of those flames, they don't look very, like, I've seen better looking flames in some of the older Halos, like Halo 5 or whatever. I've seen better looking explosions and flames. These look a little more light based or cartoony, but I kind of like them because they look very smooth. Even though the light looks a little bit more, I want to say cheap, the light looks very, looks like a high frame rate is what I'm trying to say. Like whatever the pixelation is of the light, it's very, the frames are all there. It looks really beautiful, but it looks a little more cartoony. I like that. I think I like that. So this is the beginning of the trailer and the gameplay and everything, and you know I saw most of that, but I gotta say initially I like what I see. Initially I like this. I like that it looks like original Halo because that's what I love, and that's what brings us the nostalgia of Halo 1, 2, 3, even Halo ODST and Halo Reach. There's some elements about Halo 4 too that I miss playing some of the maps online on Halo 4 back in the day, and I'm a little bit of Halo 5, not really. But certainly the original Halo, Halo 2 and 3, those 3 games were just amazing at their time. I'm happy that I got on board with Halo when Halo first came out. Pretty much the day it came out, I was playing it again without my mother's knowledge, instead of while I was supposed to be in school. So, yeah, man. I think for a lot of nostalgic people in their 30s or older, anybody older than 30, maybe anybody older than 28, you're gonna have some real nostalgia for this. I think some of the younger generation isn't gonna understand it as much because I think younger people are going to say, like, they're going to be confused. They're going to think, like, well, the other ones were getting better looking, but I still didn't really like them that much. But now you're going back to, like, this looks old, this looks cheaper or something. And so I think that some of those people may not understand it. But I think that maybe they know that. Maybe they know, like, listen, not a lot of people played Halo 5 anyway from the new generation, so maybe this will be the new generation. Maybe some of those Fortnite players, so some of those kids from whatever age, 8 years old to 15 years old, right? Maybe some of the kids that have been playing video games for only the last 5 years or 3 years, who have heard about Halo but they've never been into it, maybe they play Fortnite and maybe they'll see these light bursts, these colors, this first-person shooter, and they'll think that this is great. And maybe people will convert to this. And if there's a battle royale mode, maybe people will enjoy that. I don't know. So maybe that's the feeling. Because I think that Halo did skip a generation. I think anybody who was playing video games in their prime from the years 2000, about 2010 to 2020, those people kind of skipped Halo. They played Call of Duty, they played Fortnite, whatever. They played a whole bunch of stuff, but they skipped Halo, or they thought it was lame, or they didn't really care that much. And so I think that the idea here is to bring back all the older people who would play Halo and still will play Halo, and to bring back some of the old-time people who maybe played Halo 1, 2, and 3 but fell off, but now want to come back to try it again. And this looks just like the game they remember, and they like that. But it's a new story. So I think that this is going to do a good job in bringing back the old-time players that haven't played in 10 years. And it's certainly going to bring back the players that have played every time a Halo comes out, but they're waiting for something new, like me. And then I think you might generate some new players and fans because it's been long enough, and it's a new game. So that's what I would think that they would be probably hoping to do. It felt like before this, every time they released a Halo, they were trying to update and go further into the future of Halo, and they would lose more and more of the players and fan base every time they did it. Every time they added more craziness to the game than was ever in it before, and they added too much detail. In this, it seems like some of the detail of the map is so beautiful. It's really, but it looks classic. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when you play Halo 2, the remastered version, or Halo 1, the remastered version, when you hit that select button to change, while the map goes from classic to the new upgrade, the upgrade doesn't really look like the old version. It looks too crazy. There's lights everywhere. There's blinking things. There's just stuff that looks ridiculous. And it doesn't, even though it looks impressive and it looks complicated, impressive, and very graphically nice, it really doesn't quite look like the original game anymore. And you find yourself clicking back. I find myself clicking back to the classic version because I want to play the classic version, the place that I remember, the thing that I remember. And, I think when you try to look like Call of Duty or futuristic shooter games with the upgrade of Halo 1 and 2, the remasters, I think what happens is you end up just looking like everything else. And people go, and somebody who never played Halo could put on that game and hit select. And they would say, ugh, yeah, this old game, I don't like that. But this new version, yeah, that looks a lot better. But even though they think it looks a lot better, they never fall in love with the game the same way, because with the art and the look, because they think, well, a lot of stuff looks like this, so it's not memorable. Yeah, the game's kind of fun to play, and this is cool, but I've played other shooters before, so whatever. There's something to the original art and the feel and the vibe and the sound effects of the original Halo. Now, if you're a sound effects junkie, you may be a little insulted by this game because it sounds like some of these gun firing and sound effects have really been upgraded to sound amazing and realistic, and they have more bass to them and stuff like that. So the sounds of the guns aren't quite anything. That's the biggest difference I see in this, is that the gun sound effects are very different. But at the same time, I'm hearing shield noises and HUD sounds and menu noises and things like that are all like super reminiscent. They're exactly the original sounds, but it sounds like they were redone. They were remade, but they sound exactly like the original, so it kind of gives you that nostalgia vibe still, so it's okay. That's what I noticed in listening to this. I mean, we're really breaking down and picking apart what I know about this so far. These are all my initial thoughts. I'm going to have more thoughts on the entire showcase today and what I think about Xbox going forward. I'm still going to have some videos coming out about Diablo 4 and PC and maybe PlayStation in the future. I have to watch the rest of this Xbox showcase, but these are my initial thoughts of this Halo. It's kind of what I thought I would think, which is good, because this is staying in line with what we thought, and we're going to get this winter. That's really awesome. I'm so excited for it, and I think that I love that the look and the art of the game is back to looking like the original, with upgraded particle effects and frame rate, and they're going into detail in the mountains and the trees and the grass and the things around. But even though they're going into more detail with those things, they're not adding, which is really important to me. That's what I was trying to say, was when you click select on the remastered versions of Halo 1 and 2, it doesn't feel like Halo 1 and 2 anymore. It feels like you're in some crazy overdone futuristic game. It doesn't feel like it's Halo. They kind of went too far is what I'm trying to say. And I think with this, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we're looking at the original art in the original game with a slight layer above it of extra quality and detail, as opposed to overloading the world with futuristic stuff that actually changes what the art really originally was. I could be wrong about some of this stuff. It could be bad. It could be better. It could be something else. I don't know. But what I'm seeing here, I very much appreciated what I saw. And we'll see going forward if that's true or if there's some things to not like about it. But look at this water and grass. It looks so beautiful. And everything looks simple. It doesn't look overdone. The ships don't look overdone. They look like the classic versions with updates to the lights. Updates to the lighting and some quality detail, but not an overabundance of ridiculous bulge and muscle and doodads and doohickeys all over the ship. That's such an old man thing to say. I don't even think my generation doesn't say doodads and doohickeys. That's something like 80-year-olds say. But I'm saying it now because I don't know what else to tell you. I kind of like this, that there's a 3D map of the environment that we can look at and waypoints and things like that we can look into. We'll see how that's utilized. Maybe I won't like it later, but I like it. Again, the map HUD is just kind of extra detailed on the bottom left, which I'm covering, but this looks like classic Halo, and that's I really, really like this, man, so far. We'll see what happens, guys. What do you guys think about Halo Infinite? I'm kind of going in circles now, so let me know down below. We could really break down the new weapons we're seeing and some of the other things. Look at the visual lighting particle effects here, though. That's one of the biggest things I take from this, is how some of the particle effects, they kind of look. Let me upgrade the visual. Some of the particle effects look a little bit almost cheap. I said that, and they may not be done yet, but they must be actually by now. Some of the particle effects do look a little bit cheap, but they look really bright, very, very pretty. The frame rate. There's a sling right there, some kind of a harness. Master Chief just went full Batman just now. He went Spider-Man, dude. Look at this. Get over here. Oh my God, dude. What is that about? So that's different. That is something definitely different that we didn't see before, obviously in Halo. That's interesting. But I think it's gonna be fun. I don't know, man. Leave in the comments down below. I'll be reading all the comments if there are any on this. Hopefully we do all right. I know there's going to be a million people with their reaction videos like and their weird thumbnails. We'll see what happens. Leave in the comments, guys. I want to talk more about this later. I'll see you guys in the next video. Here's some other videos coming up that you might have missed. Hope you guys subscribe here to Evil Spectrum 3.